I got an invitation to a staff meeting not long after I had semi-retired from my job at our church, a place I'd worked for 21 years. I was technically still an employee, still putting in a few hours a week from home, so the invitation made complete sense. What didn't make sense is that I didn't want to go. And that completely confused me because I genuinely loved everyone in that meeting. Those were my people, my family. So I sat with that reaction for a while and asked myself what was really going on. And what I discovered underneath, it wasn't pretty. There were two things hiding under my resistance. The first was that even though I'd been on staff for 21 years, a lot of new people had come on since I left. People who would only know the retired version of me walking back into the room. And that intimidated me in a way that I wasn't proud of. The second thing was the question I knew I'd have to answer over and over. So what are you doing now that you're retired? And I didn't have an answer I felt good about. Nothing I was doing felt impressive enough to say out loud in that room. Nothing felt productive enough, valuable enough, worthy of the reputation I had spent 21 years building in that place. So I stayed home. Maybe you've never worked in a corporate job or been in a church staff, but I wonder if you know that feeling anyway. That feeling of walking into a room and not knowing who you are in it. Maybe it's the first holiday gathering after you've left a career. Maybe it's running into old colleagues who are still doing the thing you used to do. Or maybe it's just sitting across from your daughter-in-law who has an impressive title and a busy calendar, and you're feeling something you can't quite name. Or maybe it's quieter than that. Maybe it's just a Monday morning when the calendar is empty and the question comes out of nowhere. What am I actually contributing? Does what I'm doing matter? Where do I get my value now? Here's what I didn't expect about stepping back from work. The first few months felt fine. We went camping, I tackled projects around the house, I threw myself into finishing my book. I was still busy. I was still producing. I had something to show for my days. But then the book was done. The projects were finished, and the calendar was quieter. And that's when it hit me, the shame I didn't see coming. I'd spent 21 years in a role that gave me something I hadn't realized I was depending on. There was a level of respect that came with my position, an authority in the room, a sense that my opinion carried weight, that my presence actually mattered, that what I was doing was significant. And here at home, well, my family loves me completely, and they are completely unimpressed by my resume. I mean, my husband has seen me at my worst, after all. He's not exactly giving me standing ovations for my curriculum developmental skills. But in all seriousness, there was a real grief in that gap between the woman who walked confidently into a staff meeting for 21 years and the woman who suddenly didn't want to walk in at all. What I was discovering, slowly and painfully, was that somewhere along the way, I had let my performance become my identity. The respect I got from doing good work. There is a dopamine hit when you complete a project and hear that it mattered. That feeling of being known for something, of having a reputation, when those things went away, even though it was my own choice, I didn't know who I was without them. And that's not a retirement problem. That is an identity problem. Here's the mistake I've been making for most of my adult life, and maybe you've been making it too. I had been outsourcing my sense of value to whatever I was producing. When I was producing well, I was a great mom, I was a successful ministry leader, I was a published author, I felt valuable. But when I wasn't producing anything impressive, I felt the opposite. And no amount of achievement ever fixed it. because there was always the next question. What are you doing now? What's next? What are you working on? Performance-based identity is exhausting, and it's never finished, because the moment you stop producing or performing, you stop being worth something. At least that's the lie it tells you. I'm coming up on 1 year now since I stepped back from full-time work. And I want to tell you something honestly. I would not change a thing. Not because I found a new impressive project, not because I have a title that sounds good at parties, but because somewhere in the discomfort of that first year, with a staff meeting I didn't want to attend, on the quiet Mondays that exposed everything I'd been depending on, I started to find something I had not had before. Freedom. The freedom that comes when you stop performing for your value and start living from it. I get to choose now how I spend my time, who I invest in, what I give myself to. And that choice feels completely different when it isn't driven by what I need to prove or produce or perform. That kind of freedom, the kind that doesn't depend on what you're doing or on who's watching or whether anyone is impressed, that is what identity rooted in Christ actually looks like lived out. I won't pretend I have it all figured out. I'm still learning. But I know enough now to say, there is a way to live where the quiet Monday doesn't terrify you, where the empty calendar isn't an accusation, where you can walk into any room, even one full of people who don't know your history, and still know exactly who you are. That's the journey I want to take with you. If you're in a season right now where your value feels tied to what you're producing, or maybe you're retired and it's tied to what you used to produce, you are in exactly the right place. Subscribe and stay with me because we're just getting started.